Hi there everybody, it's independent demonstrator Halsey from slimandstylish.stampinup.net. Thank you very much for joining me today. Today I am really excited because I got to make this card which I fell in love with. I'm actually going to go as far as to say it's one of my all-time favourite cards I've ever made, and I wasn't expecting it to be. So it's using the Circle Sayings photopolymer stamp set and the coordinating circle punch that come as a bundle from the catalogue. Okay, I'm using the Cupcake stamp and also this Celebrate Circle stamp. This was a complete mind shocker for me. When I first got this out, I wasn't sure what to do with it. The stamp set and the punch come as a bundle. So I was going to get the punch, but not the stamp set. And then all of a sudden I thought to myself, add the stamp set. You never know when you'll use it. And I thought, I bet I won't use it. And I fell in love with it. So I've just stamped this Celebrate stamp in the circle one using Memento. And then I've punched it out. So I used it on scrap basic white and punched it out. And then I noticed that the Cupcake fits perfectly within the circle. So I stamped that on my scrap basic white, and then I'm going to colour it in and I'm going to fussy cut it out. Okay, so I'm doing the Cupcake, sort of the layer, the wrapper in Crumb Cake Dark and Light, and I've put the dark on the one side and I'm dragging it across with a light all the way over. Okay, and I'm using the brush tip for that because you get a lot more ink and a lot more blending ability with the brush tip. So I'm just doing that. And then for the layer, I decided there's two favourite colours that I've got at the moment, and one of them is Bubble Bath. So I grabbed that one and I did some dark bits on the shading and then some light bits over the rest of it. And at this time, I still wasn't 100% sure about this stamp set. So this is the first time I'd stamped with it, thinking, well, you've got it, you might as well do a card with it. And to be honest, at the start, I wasn't even sure about this cupcake. I was like, we've had cuter cupcakes. I don't think I really want a cupcake on the card. How wrong was I? I thoroughly loved this card by the time I finished it. So I'm just fussy cutting it out. The tip for fussy cutting is to always use the middle bit of your scissors, get it as far in there, and then you get a nice, smooth and clean cut as you're going through. And then that sits perfectly, look at this, in the middle of those Celebrates. It's as if they planned it. And I loved that. Now, at this time, I was just planning on putting that on the actual card and hadn't really worked out where or how I was going to do it. So as I was looking at it, I thought the card looks a bit blank. So I'm going to create my own DSP using these cupcakes. So you can see I just put them on. There was no planning, no rhyme, no reason. They weren't exactly straight. There was gaps all over the place. I just popped them on the card because I wanted them on the card. And then when I get to the edge, because I am a little bit OCD and I like to have clean grid paper on these videos for you, I just used a piece of paper to actually stop me from getting the grid paper dirty. Okay, so I've stamped that all over the background like that. And then I thought to myself, I could leave this black and white and have the topper on that really pops it out. But I just enjoyed colouring it before, so I thought throw some colour on it and off we go. So again, I've done all of the wrappers to my cupcakes. I'm getting my C's and G's mixed up today, aren't I? That could get me into some trouble. I'm doing that in Crumb Cake, and I'm doing all the wrappers, starting with the dark and then blending in the light. And then, as I said, I'm using my two new favourite colours for this one. So I have Lemon Lolly and Bubble Bath. These are two new colours with the annual catalogue. Really pretty, and they're pastel-y, and for some reason pastels this summer I think are just going to be in because I fell in love with pastels. Okay, so it's exactly the same as what I did with the mini cupcake. I've gone over the dark parts that Stampin' Up, they're really good with their blending. When they make a stamp that looks like it'll be really good for blending, you'll always find they put these little sort of lines. They're like a shaded line that when you ink it down, you can see there's just a bit of shading in certain areas. That's where you should ideally use your dark blend, and then you can use your light blend in the other areas that brings it all together. So it does give you a hint if you've never been a colourer before, or you're never sure how to put the dark and the light on. Stampin' Up will guide you in that aspect, which is just really good. Okay, so once you've put all your colour on, you'll have your card. Now, what would be fun would have been to have done all of these in different colours. So perhaps to have got a bit of Lost Lagoon in there, a bit of Balmy Blue, and just sort of popped a bit more sort of pastel colours over it. But I quite liked it with these two. And I think it was probably about this time during making the card that I started to fall in love with it. In fact, I might actually make it one with all multicolours and put it over on my Instagram page so you can see it, because genuinely, this is one of my favourite cards I've made, and I think it was because I wasn't expecting to like it. Sometimes there's those stamp sets in the catalogue, and I always find this. I buy my stamp sets that I like, and then I see stamp sets that I don't like, and I think I'd never use that, and I never get them. And then other demonstrators use them, and they create the most wonderful projects. And I'm like, actually, that's what I want. And I think I've done this to myself. I didn't want this stamp set. I only got it because it came with a punch. I wasn't going to use it. Now I've used it. Now I love it. And it's actually become a favourite. So there we go. Once you've finished colouring it all in, use your adhesive to stick it on the back. I'm using our seal adhesive so that it sticks flat. My card bases are already cut and scored, but it's the thick basic white, cut in half and then scored in half, which makes my A6 card. And then I was going to stick this directly onto the card, but I had these trio of ribbons, and these come in the catalogue, all three of them together, and they're lovely. So there is one in my bubble bath. There is also one in my lemon lolly. So I had to make a decision, but I thought I've got enough bubble bath on there, especially with bubble bath being on the topper. I'm going to use lemon lolly. So I've just popped it on as a Z, okay? So you'll see how this works. Fold the ribbon back. Now, the one thing to note with ribbon, and I always do this on cards, especially if you're going to be putting something on top of it, is normally it looks messy, right? So if I was going to gift a card like this, it would look messy. But as soon as you cover up the bit where the adhesive is and a bit where the ribbon crosses, it looks fine. So never worry when you're putting your ribbon on your card that it's looking messy. It will work out at the end. So I'm using, well, I had a little bit left of our foam adhesive. So we've got our full sheets of foam. They're slightly wider than our normal card. So I'm using my leftovers of those, but you could use dimensionals just as well. And pop it onto your card like that. Now, I was already loving this, but we've got new metallic effects. So if you know me, you know I like my metallic effects. We've got new ones that are in gold, silver and copper that coordinate very nicely with our black, red and white ones we used to have. So I'm just using the gold one on this card for a little added bit extra, and there you go. I love it. What do you think? Let me know below. And here's the finished project. Thank you for joining me. I do hope that you enjoyed the video. Everything I've used today is available from slimandstylish.stampingup.net. If you did enjoy the video, please do drop me a like or leave me a comment. And if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe and come back for more content. I also have an Instagram page that I'm trying to grow at the same time. It's @slimandstylish, and every like or follow helps. Thanks everybody for joining me. I hope you have a lovely rest of the day. Bye.